deal. It wasn't even Confessions of Fire. It's times where you might not remember. I know we talked about Penn State. But it was a show you guys did at the Castle in the Bronx.
That was back in the day.
Yeah. Yo. I was at that show. So that's what I'm saying. When I used to hear Coming of Age and see what you guys was doing, I said, I got to get to it. So even Confessions of Fire Cam, you may not remember, but I remember all of that, to the Castle, to Penn State, to where I didn't have a deal.
Yo.
And they trying to figure it out.
I'm gonna ask you some off the wall shit right now, because it's real, right? Yo, the baseline days, we was all cool, right?
Yes.
I heard you speak about many times, you, Jim, all y'all talk about like what the difference was, why y'all, went at Jay and how shit went like that.
Right.
My question to you though, why y'all shit on me?
Me?
On me.
What did I say about you?
Everything is altered when kinship, loyalty, and money clash. At last, Camron is speaking out about what it was like to lose the connection with Jay-Z and Dame Dash, and how money became the focal point of everything. It is more than just the drama that gives this story its impact. It serves as a reminder that these men were brothers, traveling together like family before the rap feuds and commercial conflicts. Cam transports us to the past, just trying to find his way after graduating from college without any deals. He describes being at tables with Jay-Z and Tata, rolling with Dame's fathers, and realizing how much money and vision were present at the moment. That was the beginning of his hunger. He witnessed firsthand what was feasible there when you partnered with the appropriate individuals. However, that fraternity gradually changed. Red tape, egos, and money plays entangled what had begun as familial ties and commitment. Cam acknowledges that he and Bleek never really had a falling out, but there were politics involved in even being in Jay-Z's social circle. Then all of a sudden, the same individuals he was constructing with, joking with, and gambling with were his competitors on records and DVDs. At that point, he began to wonder how things got to be this way. And the financial aspect just added to its weight. Who received the call for possibilities? Who was in the studio and label politics? All of this became a loyalty test. For Cam, it was never about discrediting others. In an industry where millions and brotherhood don't often go hand in hand, he didn't want to fall behind. I simply need you to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts about this in the comment box below before I play this clip for you all. Let's get started.
Because we got to go back in the day, because people only think when we sit down it's about the drama.
Right,
they don't know
before
that bullshit rap beef. It was we was fam.
Absolutely.
We was riding around.
Absolutely.
You pulling up with Dame. I'm at the club with Jay.
Yes.
Like that's what I mean. Like the Confessions of Fire Cam, man.
Right.
Like that's the Cam I met. You was moving out here.
You met Cam with no deal. It wasn't even Confessions of Fire. You know what's crazy? Bleak, is that I was actually talked about this on Drink Champs. So I got kicked out of college at the beginning of 1995. And I know Dame since I was 10, 11 years old. He always been running around saying, I'm gonna do this, do this, do this. And I was saying, this probably like 5 days after I got kicked out of college, and I'm like, I need to figure this shit out. I ain't going back to school. I see Dame busting moves or whatever. And I actually talked about this on Drink Champs, and I was like, I remember going to meet, I was with Dame, and he was going to meet Jay and Tata at is a spot used to be called Jackson Hole.
Oh yeah, come on. We used to order that in the stew all the time. You kidding me?
Right. So I go meet, I'm with Dame. He goes meet them. Ty is with a girl, Jay is with a girl, and I'm fucked up. And Dame always has some money, whatever. So I'm just sitting there. I'm at the point like this, Bleak, to where I'm like, they told me to get food. I'm like, I hope I don't have to pay for this, because I don't even know if I had $10 on me at the time. I'm fresh, kicked out of college in my grandmother's house. And when the bill came, Tata pulled out this big ass knot.
I think I heard you say this before.
And he paid for it, and I'm like, you don't know how old Tata is. You don't know if he's my age. You don't know if he's old.
Yo, he don't age, bro.
Right, but I'm just saying at that moment, I'm thinking it's a nigga my age who got this much money.
Like, what the fuck he doing?
I got to get to it. It's times where you might not remember. I know we talked about Penn State. It was a show you guys did at the Castle in the Bronx.
That was back in the day.
I was there.
Yo.
I was at that show. So that's what I'm saying. When I used to hear Coming of Age and see what you guys was doing, I said, I got to get to it. So even Confessions of Fire Cam, you may not remember, but I remember all of that, to the castle, to Penn States, to where I didn't have a deal.
Yo.
And niggas trying to figure it out.
I'm gonna ask you some off the wall shit right now, because it's real, right? Yo, the baseline days, we was all cool, right?
Yes.
I heard you speak about many times, you, Jim, all y'all talk about like what the difference was, why y'all, you know, when that Jay and how shit went like that.
Right.
My question to you though, why y'all niggas shit on me?
Me?
On me.
What did I say about you? Let
Y'all
me know.
niggas used to go, you was gunning at everybody, and I used to be sitting there like, yo, niggas just was my man. We gambling in baseline.
Give me an example of what you talking, because I never remember.
Yo, I remember watching the interview. It was something y'all was on. This when the DVDs was heavy.
Right.
And y'all niggas was like, yeah, and that nigga Bleak too, he could get it. It was you, Jim, and Santana. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait a minute. I understand niggas got they boss beef. You know, it's always behind the scenes red tape shit. But I'm sitting there like, why niggas this me?
I'm gonna keep it 100. If you don't point out a scenario, I can't.
Yeah,
co-sign
it was just rap bullshit. But
no.
I just always wanted to ask you that, like, what I do?
I never had a problem with you. So my thing was this, and I'm just telling you, and like I said, this all water under the bridge. Me and you never had a problem.
Never.
So when I got, and like I said, you explained a lot just being Jay's friend. You know what I'm saying? And even with your interviews, I laugh and shit. I'm like, this is just the way this nigga is. You know what I'm saying? Even like what we talked about on my show.
Word up.
So even like to the lobby for a spot on my album, like that shit never even left out my mind. When the nigga said lobby for a spot, like not, I ain't here to get a spot on your album. I don't give a fuck. I'm not here to lobby for a spot on your album. Never went out. But I want to answer your question. Is that, so the way I felt was this, and I never had a problem with you. If I said something, it probably was just all mixed up, but I never had a problem with you.
That's what I was saying. Like, we never had an argument, nothing.
Nothing. The whole thing is the way, so it was a few things just for me. When I came to Rockefeller, I was at the point where I'm like, I'm coming into a scenario to where this is already laid out. This is done. These niggas is up. For me to even be a part of this is a big move for Dame even bringing me in. I'm very happy. So I always was like, and I'm exaggerating when I say this, but I'm like almost a slave. Like, can I hold the door for you? Yo, y'all niggas want something from the store? I'm on the store. Y'all niggas,
no, you was definitely grind mode when you first came around, for
everything.
sure. I never take that away.
Right, and so I just, everything I did was like, we're not gonna fuck this up. And then, like I said, I just didn't know Jay's personality. And it was a time, I'll give you an example, right? I had K Slay in the studio.
Yeah, you told me that,
No, I didn't know if I remember told you. And Jay was like, yo, be careful who you bringing in here, because what if I would have slapped the shit out the nigga? And I'm like, I didn't know. This is a word of my mother.
Yo, rest in peace, K Slay. Like, that's another thing about Slay that I respected. Like, him and Jay had their differences, but Slay always fucked with me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Me and Pap
Absolutely.
did a mixtape together, introduced me to Pap when Pap first was coming up. Used to always let me come on to bring my artists up to freestyle.
Right.
So I always respected that about Slay. Like, he never threw me into the politics of what they had going on.
Right. But I didn't know. But I knew K Slay had the drama hour. Where he's playing all the diss records. But it wasn't like he would play Nas records and not play Jay records. But I guess Jay was like, if you play Nas records,
don't play my shit.
Yeah, whatever. I didn't know that. So everything I did was like just basically trying to just make sure that I'm good.
In ways that success never could, money will put loyalty to the test. What strikes me as Camron discusses these early days with Jay-Z and Dame Dash isn't the politics or the conflict. It's how important brotherhood was before money truly mattered. It is audible in the stories. Realizing someone your own age might take out a pile of cash you couldn't even imagine yet while riding about, pulling up to the clubs and having supper? The spark that caused Camron to get hungry was that one. To be honest, many of us experience the same excitement when we first realize what is possible. Here's the problem though. The fraternity is put to the test when money is involved. Furthermore, it's not always about greed, in my opinion. Frequently, it comes down to survival and the desire to avoid being abandoned. This is the reason this story is relatable. It's life, not just hip-hop. How many friendships change when money or corporate standing enters the picture? It serves as a reminder that being loyal is simple when no one is making any money, but it becomes more difficult when millions are at stake. I also like Ken's non-bitter reflection on this. He doesn't sit here and gesture at Dame or Jay. He accepts responsibility for the fact that occasionally things went wrong. Lines were occasionally crossed and loyalty was occasionally called into question. However, he emphasizes the strength of that fraternity in the past rather than discrediting anyone else. Now that is perspective and growth. And that, in my opinion, is the most important lesson here. It doesn't matter who was correct or incorrect at the time. What you learn from it now is what matters. All of these young men were navigating a field that doesn't exactly give you a handbook on how to maintain friendships while still striving for success. They constructed a landmark. Furthermore, the legacy is indisputable even if the bond changed. That's what we can't ignore. Let me ask you all these questions. Do you believe that when individuals act morally, money can strengthen brotherhood or always undermine it? Would you have chosen business over brotherhood or brotherhood over business if you had been Camron at the time? Please share your ideas in the comments box below and don't forget to like and subscribe. Calm.